Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. That's it. I'm not trying to do anything crazy or strange. What we're trying to do is help people navigate through this thing we call life without spilling my coffee as I transfer it from my here to my here. Anyway, lots of problems in life. Daily challenges, easy to get distracted on other things. This is to keep focused, but really building better habits is what it's all about. We want to do as many things non-consciously as we can. We want to do them in a very samurai way, meaning perfect. We want to not make mistakes. We want to really do it right. So we need to do things unconsciously. We need to build in routines so that every time we do a thing, we do it just a little bit better. And over time, it's good. And again, that is transferred to our non-conscious brain, like driving a car is mostly non-conscious until something goes wrong. But otherwise, we can drive perfectly, no problem, non-consciously. How do we know it's non-consciously? Because we're eating a hamburger, chewing gum, singing a song, talking to somebody on the phone, whatever, all of those things at the same time. Our brains are somewhere else. We're driving the car, but our brain is somewhere else. We're driving non-consciously. But our reticular activating system is scanning. And one thing our RAS is looking for is somebody putting their brake lights on. So you notice when you're driving and somebody puts their brake lights on in front of you, you come to attention. You notice it. You see it. That's how it works. We want to transfer as much stuff to our non-conscious brain, so our conscious brain, we can be focused on things that are important. Keeping a car going down the highway in our lane should not require our conscious brain. We should be able to do that like walking, right? When we're walking on a normal street, we're not thinking about walking. When you're walking on a mountain trail, we're thinking about walking because we don't want to what? Twist our ankles, right? Okay. So this is day 4 of week 2. Day 4, week 2. And this is stress. We're going to be talking about stress today. Stress, oh no, man. Stress is bad. No, it's not bad. Stress is not bad. Stress is your body's normal, natural reaction to certain circumstances. Okay, we're going to talk about that. But first, this problem of life. Let's see what an 80-year-old has to say about that. An 80-year-old says, avoid sarcastic remarks. Avoid sarcastic remarks, right. So sarcastic remarks are mean statements clothed in humor. Should avoid them. Let's avoid them. What do you say? Okay, next. What does Seth Godin have to say? 9 shortcuts. The simple rule, 9 shortcuts take longer and are less productive than simply doing the work the first time. Doing the work the right way the first time. When we look for one quick tip and the lazy hack, we're wasting time we could have spent on the direct path instead. When a shortcut becomes the best way to do something, it ceases to be a shortcut. It's simply the direct path. It's easy to find satisfaction in finding the unexplored shortcut that gives us a temporary advantage. However, it won't last long, and the time spent looking for it is a distraction. Sit down and type, stand up and lead, simply begin. Right, don't look for the shortcut, just do it. There's so one way to get in shape, actually I can only think of one way to get in shape, and that's actually doing the work. One way to lose weight is to get the shot, rock and roll quotes, get the shot. That's one way to lose weight. Another way to lose weight is to regulate diet. Another way to lose weight is to regulate diet and exercise. Exercise alone is not going to overcome a bad diet. It starts with diet. Cut out the sugar. Okay, next. What do we got? What do we got on our hit parade? Okay, so today's TED Talk is Kelly McGonigal talking about stress. Kelly McGonigal is known on the show as one of the Stanford Four: Carol Dweck, Duckworth, Aaliyah Crum, and McGonigal. Really focused on things like growth mindset, grit. Aaliyah Crum is changing your mindset, and McGonigal is stress. How what we believe affects how we do. So Duckworth talks about grit, and that says that grit is the thing that distinguishes people. Dweck, Carol Dweck, talks about having a growth mindset, which means basically adding the word yet to anything you can't do. I can't type yet. I can't dance yet. So when you say I can't do something, thinking about the reticular activating system, we're programming our RAS for failure. So let's just do the typing example. If you say I can't type, every time you make a mistake, what is your brain going to tell you? It's going to confirm what you believe. Yep, you can't type. There's another mistake. You might as well give it up. You can't type. Your fingers are too fat. And we look for confirmation bias, things to support our belief that we can't type. And once we believe we can't type, then what? Once you truly believe it, what's the point? What is the point of continuing to do it because I can't? Now, you do what Carol Dweck says, and you add one word to the end, yet. I can't type yet. What does that imply? It implies that if I keep working at it, I will be successful one day. Now, when I make a mistake, my brain is looking for well, you typed a couple, see, you're learning to type. You typed one extra word before making a mistake. You typed for an extra 10 seconds before making a mistake. You just made that simple mistake that you're going to overcome, where you got your little finger wasn't quite fast enough. Keep going. Right. Grittiness now. So that's Carol Dweck, growth mindset. Just add the word yet. Program the RAS. Duckworth, grittiness. I'm not giving up. I'm not going to give up. I will keep doing this till I know how to type, because I know if I keep doing it, one day I will. You can't stop me. And then, of course, Aaliyah Crum, how powerful our mindset is. But today we're talking about Kelly McGonigal, and she is talking about stress. And she does the Larry David flip, where we look at it differently. And historically, people that do things like yoga and stuff like that always tend to want to be like, you need to be calm, stress is bad. Kelly McGonigal, looking at the statistics, at the real numbers, not our emotional feelings about the subject, says, well, wait a second. Stress is not bad. It's fear of stress that's bad. Stress is just the body's natural response to certain stimulus, internal and or external stimulus. That's all stress is the body's natural response to them. Again, back to our first two questions. Who am I? Why do I behave the way I do? Well, I'm this body that reacts without my thinking about things to help me become successful, to thrive and survive. So one of them is when I get in certain situations, my heart beats faster, my blood vessels constrict so that the whatever's in my blood, oxygen, chemicals, whatever's in my blood gets to where it needs to be faster. And as my body is going faster, the relative world seems to slow down just a little bit, which gives me time to figure out what is my next move. Okay, so if I'm out in the African savannah and I have my little pointed stick and I'm hungry and I'm looking for food, I'm looking for a rabbit, I come up to a bush and the bush rattles. What happens is I get a dose of a chemical that kind of brain cloud. What do I do? My body's getting energy, but I don't know whether should I attack the bush or run. If I attack the bush and it's a lion, what is it going to do? It's going to scratch off my face and then eat me. On the other hand, if it's a rabbit and I run, I go hungry. So I've got to figure out from all of the things I got, did that shaking of the bush seem more like a rabbit or a lion? And meanwhile, my body's getting the energy. So once I decide what it is, I can react quickly to hopefully run or stay put or attack. So stress is the thing that creates that whole interaction of what's going on. So releasing cortisol in my system, which is kind of like a brain cloud, brain freeze, not brain freeze, but more like a brain cloud. I don't know what to do. And you've seen people that have been scared stiff, right? They're just frozen. They don't know what to do. They have so much cortisol going through their system, they cannot move. That's where the expression scared stiff comes from. Okay. So Kelly McGonigal says that's natural. And if we aren't, and so the problem is if you are worried about stress, you keep releasing cortisol. And cortisol in long, prolonged doses, if every day you go to work and you're stressed, you're worried about your job, you're worried about your performance, you're worried about whatever you're worried about, that stress, that cortisol, constant cortisol drip or flood or whatever, that constant amount of cortisol is bad. One reason we learned from Simon Sinek on Tuesday was that while you are in this cortisol state, this what do I do now, we don't need other things, systems in our body working. So like our immune system isn't really important in a life-death situation, right? So, and his example is you don't really need your fingernails to grow when you're in a stressful situation. So our immune systems get compromised. One thing you can observe with people is people who are constantly stressed are constantly sick. Why? Because their immune system isn't working well. People who don't have stress are healthier. And And Kelly McGonigal says it's not the stressful situation, it's the fear of the stress. So in other words, it's the cortisol drip, drip, drip. Uh-oh, I'm feeling stressed. I need to relax. I'm not getting relaxed. I need to do something more to get relaxed because relaxation is the thing I need to do right now. Without relaxation, I'm not going to perform well, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Kelly McGonigal turns around and says, no, stress is not bad. It's our response, our reaction, our belief about stress that's bad. And we just need to see it as the natural thing. Now, then she goes on and talks about the wonder drug. And says what? A hormone. Oxytocin. The cuddle hormone. As some people suggest that we snort it. Okay, it's the feeling you get when you see a baby or you have a little puppy. That feeling of love is oxytocin. Oxytocin, it's what mothers who just gave birth get a massive dose of once they see their baby, and all of the pain of birth goes away. Oxytocin. And Kelly McGonigal says, so it relaxes the blood vessels, so there's less stress on the heart, and it actually repairs the heart, attaches to the heart and repairs the heart. And some people say that's why we have this feeling that love is in our heart, because that's oxytocin attaching to our heart, and we feel it because it's repairing from the stress. So, now, Kelly McGonigal says there's another set of behavior other than seeing a puppy or a baby or somebody you love or somebody giving you a hug or you hugging somebody. There's another state that releases cortisol, and that is the feeling of courage. Courage. Will release oxytocin. And sometimes we need courage to get things done in a scary situation. So you're walking down the street, minding your own business. A lady runs out screaming, my baby's inside. The house is on fire. My baby's inside. And you have to make a split decision of, do I run in the building and save the child or not? So what are the thoughts that go, what do you need to go in there? You need a lot. So what neurotransmitters do you need? So you need dopamine, the will to do it, the thing, I'm going to get it done. I have this task. I am going to go in there. I'm going to save the baby. You need some endorphins. You need to mask physical pain. It's going to be hot. It's going to be smoky. Your lungs are going to burn. Your eyes are going to burn. You need to have endorphins to help mask the physical pain. Serotonin, feeling of pride. Hey, I can be a hero. I can be a hero in here. I'll get the key to the city. I'll be on the news. Wow, that's cool. So I'm getting this cocktail together, right? And oxytocin in the form of, I'm like a fireman. I'm like a guy who can run in there, and we are people who sacrifice ourselves for the good of others. If that is what I'm feeling, if I have all of those thoughts, I'm just going to go in and do it. And I'm not going to be, when I touch that doorknob, ow, that's hot. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to stop because I am driven by these chemicals that are pulsating through my body. But on the other hand, I get a massive dose of cortisol. And instead of thinking I'm a hero, I see myself having half my face burned off and my kids thinking I'm a monster, or my fingers get burned. I can't go to work anymore, or I die. something happens in there, and all of a sudden the flames look bigger and the window of opportunity looks smaller, and there's an obstacle between me and that infant that will prevent me from doing it. So what will happen? I will not go in. All chemical driven. So our message, our point is, if we understand how these neurotransmitters work, we can dial in who we need to be. I need to go save that baby. Okay, whammo. I can think of all of these things in a fraction of a second, or just release the chemicals I need to release to get in there and get the job done. And we are out of time. Time, such a runic rhyme, right? Okay, so that is it for today. I was hoping to have a big announcement this morning, but maybe it'll be tomorrow. These things happen. Right. Okay, with that, we're going to say and cut. And cut.